Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be working on this tiered coaster mold, and I'm going to use some craft resin mica as well as some craft resin. I recently got this craft resin mica and you get a lot of colors. I like the fact that they're in the bag because it's easier to store. I don't like the fact they're in the bag because they're harder to pour. But it's a good way to ship, and it has a ton of colors. Including neons. But what I am looking for is gold. Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe I want bronze. And I'm gonna go gold. I already have my mind set up. Oh, well look, I had just complained about them being in a bag, but they give you a spoon. That is fabulous. Alright, I'm gonna put these back. Put them off to the side. Alright, I've already mixed up a small amount of resin, the craft resin, for my first part of this project. And I am going to use that along with this gold mica powder from craft resin. And then I'm going to use this brush to only brush resin on the sides of the mold. So, first thing I need to do is open the packet. And then I will use the spoon that they provided nicely. And I want this to be pretty dense, so I'm going to do a couple of heaping spoons. That means 3. And I don't know if anyone has seen this before, but there is this stuff by Polycolor called it's a dispersion fluid thin. It is incredible for using with mica. In the past, I would have to use isopropyl alcohol, and I found that sometimes it made weird things happen with my resin. This does not, but it helps the mica go into the resin properly. So I just poured a small amount, and now I'm going to slowly stir in my mica. And the great thing about the dispersion fluid too is that it mixes it very quickly. If I were doing this without that, it would have taken a lot longer. And it's a beautiful color. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, like I said, is brush the resin onto the sides. And by brush, I mean I'm taking a little heap of it and I'm just heaping it on the tier part, like the bevel part of the mold. I'm trying not to go down into the actual center part. If I do, I can clean it up, but for this first part, this is what I am doing just for these edges. Now, I will continue to do this all around the edge of the mold, and then I'm going to let this cure for probably for about 6 or 7 hours at least. I just don't want to take the risk that it will not stay where it's supposed to. And then I will come back for the second part. Okay, I am back, and the sides that I did are now firm, the gold that I did on the edges of the coaster. I've mixed up another 16 ounces of the craft resin, and I'm going to divide that into 4 cups. So I'm just going to pour almost 3/4 of the way. Okay, and then I'm going to use some clear, and I'm just going to pour it on the bottom part of each coaster. I don't want a ton, just enough to coat the bottom a little. This will help with the movement once I start putting in my pigmented resins. Alright, and for each of these 4 cups, I'm going to be using Magic Blue, and these are craft resin mica powders. I'm going to use Magic Blue, Cobalt Blue, Turquoise, and Pearl White. And I'm going to use the spoon that's provided with the mica, so what measurement I do here you could do if you have the spoon. For the white, I'm going to do 2 heaping spoons. And I'm going to add a little of the dispersion fluid. And then I will mix that together. On the turquoise, I'm also going to add 2 heaping spoons. A little dispersion fluid, and then mix it. Alright, and on the cobalt blue, I'm just going to do 1 heaping spoon. Dispersion fluid, and mix. Alright, now that all of my colors are mixed, what I'm going to do is add some silicone oil. I did a video already on the effects that this has in resin, so you can always look at that video. But I'm going to add 4 drops of silicone oil to the pearl white and the turquoise only. And then I'm going to mix that again. Alright, and now all I'm going to do is pour. So I'm going to start with the Magic Blue. I'm pouring in the center. And then I'm going to come in with the Pearl White. And that's also the one that has the silicone oil. And then I am going to go with the Cobalt Blue. And then the turquoise. And the turquoise also has silicone oil. And now I'm just going to continue pouring. I'm going to vary the colors until the mold is almost full, but not completely full. And now I'm going to use clear just to fill the rest of the mold. Okay, now I'm just going to spritz this with some isopropyl alcohol. And then I will let it sit and cure, and I will come back and demold once it is ready. Okay, these are now cured and ready to demold. So let's see how they look. Oh, that turned out amazing. I'm very pleased. And this is just with the silicone oil, it gives you that effect. Awesome. Very cool too. That's my favorite so far. It really did well. And the last one, incredible. That might actually be my favorite. Here is a final up-close view. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and press the bell to be alerted to future videos.